Good morning, everyone. How's everyone today? I'm just going to bring this up. Okay. Okay, all ready to go. How's everybody doing this morning? Okay, there we are. Oh, need a little bit more light on that. It doesn't seem too bright. It's quite bright though. So let's see. Am I live? Am I live? Can you hear me? Hello. Oh, there we go. It's showing that I'm live. So I will go ahead and start. I just had a quick announcement, two quick announcements this morning. Can you guys hear me? Let me know. I had two quick announcements this morning. The first one is that Dali and I have our hi Jill, how are you, hun? I'm doing okay. I'm still actually under the weather. I managed to get myself a bit of a chest cold, but nothing serious. So I'm just kind of recovering from that. And of course that was leading to kind of my head cold kind of headaches. But I'm on the mend. But thank you for asking. Couple of announcements was Dali and I were doing, thank you Jill, we're doing a YouTube hop over the Christmas holidays. I know we said we were having a bit of a break, but we were busy making a YouTube video. It's the Hope YouTube Hop 2021 by Apexa that has put this all together for us, so thank you for that, Apexa. And there's 20 amazing artists that are doing this, so please do go to our Facebook pages. All the links are there, and check out all the artists, and make sure that you leave a comment, subscribe to the YouTube channels. That would be lovely. There's lots of prizes to be given away. And the other announcement that I just quickly wanted to make was that my classes that were due to start at the City of Kelowna come end of January have now been bumped towards the end of February due to the fact that the COVID restrictions have been extended to February the 5th. So we'll play it by ear. Myself or the city will be getting a hold of everybody just to let you know the revised times. I think there's a couple of spots left in a couple of classes, but I can't be sure. There's 2 acrylic pouring classes, there's a mixed media art classes. They all run for 4 to 5 weeks. So every week you're doing something different. And then there's a creative cards mixed media class. So they've been rescheduled based on the latest COVID-19 restrictions. That's it really. Yeah, we had a great time making the YouTube hop, Dali and I did. And we went with boxes. We like doing boxes, I think. But yeah, check out the videos, let us know what you think, and if you'd like to see some more YouTube videos from us, because I'm sure we can do that. So today I'm going to continue on with providing inspiration for the competition. We have the black and white competition going on with the pop of color. So I'm going to try and replicate this the best that I can. I was just doing this while I was actually messing around. I wasn't really paying attention to what I was doing, but I really liked it. It's using black and white acrylic, and of course a yellow acrylic, and yellow Lasurs and orange. So today is, thank you Gloria, I really appreciate it. Thank you. If you have any questions about what was used or how it was done, or want to know what the full process was, let me know. I can answer some questions. So with this one, it's very simple, just using black and white acrylic paint, Hylanet, and just creating a background really. And again, it's for inspiration for the competition. I've just put it on a card again because I don't know what I'm going to do with it at this point. And you can flatten out the butterflies if you want and stick them down. They don't have to actually been to 2 classes you look like. Oh, I hope you will put some pictures. Oh, you'll post them tomorrow. Thank you, Jill. I can't wait to see your take on it because I know you always have an exciting spin on the classes. You can flatten out the butterflies and push them down. I chose to kind of curl mine up a little bit just because I wanted to give it some dimension, as you can see from the side. Hi, IoT. I hope you're well. And that's it, really. So this is a really, really simple technique that you can do for the competition. So what I'm going to be using today, I am going to be using this stamp. It's called Butterfly Wishes. It's a PipART stamp. It was probably in my 5th range, I think, that I did. And it's got these gorgeous, this beautiful, I believe, a monarch butterfly. It has a saying that says, flutter on by. Oh, of course I will approve, Jill. Your work is amazing. It's got fly high, and the sentiment is butterfly wishes. And so I'm just going to be using 2 of these stamps today, and that's it. And then I'm going to be using the butterfly wishes as a background stamp. You can use a flutter by or fly high. I chose to use the butterfly wishes because just the way it went across and balanced everything. And then I used it as the sentiment. The other things that I used were very little. I only used this very sparsely, you'll see, is just for some highlighting. Very simple highlighting. It's the Pentart Primer Paste Gesso. Of course, I'm going to use, and I went with semi-acrylic to give it a bit of a sheen. I went with acrylic white glossy and semi-gloss high pigmented black, because this gives the creamies give a little bit more texture than not. Hi, Charlie. Then I used for my butterfly, I used the matte acrylic because I didn't want my butterfly to be shiny. Acrylic paint matte, it's called Sun Yellow. What else did I use? I used a very little bit of Lasurs orange and Lasurs yellow. And the reason I used these 2 was to highlight the butterfly, but also you'll see I'll be using this one on the back of the butterfly to give it a pop of color. Good morning. I'm doing good, Charlie. To give it a pop of color. And I'll use this on the front because with Lasurs, because there is stain, they are not going to color in where you've stamped. So they leave the stamped image intact. So you're not losing any of the detail from the stamp. So that's why I chose to use those. And what else am I using? And I'm going to use some distressing black soot, black soot, and my dauber, black soot. Hope Paul's not watching and get in trouble. And of course my go-to stencil. My go-to stencil. Look at it, I've used it a lot now. Okay, so let's get started. It's a very, very simple technique. We're going to start with the butterflies, and then we'll do the black and white. Okay, so put that there. So when I did the stamping, I used my platform again because I'm really, really enjoying it. You can see this is just done on deli paper. So it's on the front and the back, but you can see how detailed those gorgeous butterflies are. So I just did it on the front and back. I did originally do some ghosting on cardstock, but what I found was I like the way I can manipulate the butterflies and make them very light and fluttery, as you can see, with using the deli paper. Whereas with the cardstock, they weren't so free, if you will. I don't know if that's a word, a way of saying something. But anyway, this is quite simple. I haven't even cut this to size. I just want to show you them being stamped. Now I just used VersaFine. You could use StazOn if you wanted to, but for me, I had enough time where I left it to dry on its own, so I didn't really worry about it. But basically all I did was I first of all just stamped my butterflies. So look at my magnets, they're all over the shop. So give it a good press. I hope everybody's doing well. I can't believe we're nearly through mid-January. And then you can see right there how nicely they turn out. So because we're using VersaFine ink, we do want these to dry, because otherwise we're gonna get it a little bit messy and gray tones will come in. So that's all I did on a piece of deli paper. Now, because I've got one that I stamped prior to this, this is nice and dry. So the first thing that I'm gonna do, because we want it to show the color through the back, we're gonna paint this with acrylic paint. And I'm just gonna do the big one. I already have a little tiny one to go here. So as you can see, the Lasurs will not get rid of your stamped detail. So we're just gonna go with the sun yellow. Don't worry about going outside the lines at this point, because it's not gonna make any difference. Trying to find the right brush here, make any difference, because we're going to be cutting this out anyway. So you can come in and just give it a nice yellow layer, and I will try and show you what the difference is when you don't do this and when you do this. I know even though you can go outside the lines, I still like to keep inside the lines. That's just me. So I did the whole butterfly. I'll see if I can't show you half of it. So can you see the difference already just by putting that on the back of the paper? Now you could probably just use tissue paper too. You could use acetate also. But that's the difference you're going to get. You can quite see it quite clearly where the yellow is and where it's not. So we're just going to finish this off. So remember, just when I do these samples and stuff like this, or I do a Facebook Live, it's a very small segment in terms of just imagine what else you could do with these techniques in bigger projects. It doesn't always have to be used in the way that I'm doing it. You can use them in many different ways, these techniques. So always think big, get creative. Again, this is more for the inspiration for the black and white competition. Okay, so we have that done now. I'm just going to dry that. I find it easier to color it in and then cut it out, but you could cut it out and color it in. Okay, next part is really, really simple. You are just gonna take some of the yellow Lasurs, and I'm just gonna put it onto my brush like this. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take the yellow Lasurs and we're just going to pop it over the butterfly like this. So now you can see the difference in the two yellows. Now, if you want to have this a more deeper shade, what you can do is dry this. And then you can come back over it with the Lasurs. Oh, good. That's a good tip there, Charlie. I will have to try that. No, I think I have washi tape. I know Dali sent me some, so. Okay, that's it for your yellow Lasurs. You might come back to it depending on if you feel like doing more to it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give it a little dry. And then I'm just going to take a brush that's, I've forgotten what these are called, a little round bristled brush. And I'm just going to pick up some yellow from the Lasurs. I love the Lasurs, as you can tell. And I'm just going to slowly bring in some bits to highlight the butterfly. And then I'm just going to use my finger to kind of almost smudge that in. So you can see it right there. Okay. So just go ahead and highlight some areas. If you don't like it, come back and keep doing it till you're at the point where you're happy with it. Okay, so I'm going to show you the difference between the two sides now. So sometimes a little goes a long way. So I'm not re-dipping my brush in because I've still got quite a bit of Lasurs on this. And then tap it in with your finger to give it a more cohesive kind of smudged look. Okay, so I'm just going to highlight the body of the butterfly. Okay, that's it for your yellow Lasurs, or orange Lasurs. And next what we're going to do is we're going to come in with our primer paste. I don't know where I got this from, but I really enjoyed using it. It's called a color shaper. Oh, Royal Sovereign Limited, United Kingdom. It's a taper point. Oh, you can't see that. It's a taper point. Yeah, I like the yellow and orange together. It reminds me of sunshine. It's called a Taper Point Soft Color Shaper, Royal Sovereign Limited, UK. Patent number 5542144. But what it is, it's like this rubbery thing. I've never seen one of the, oh, let me get that in focus. I've never seen one of these before, but maybe you crafty ladies will know what that is. But I think this was probably when I was in England with Dali. So all I'm going to do is put a little bit of white primer on there, not too much. And what I'm going to do is just come in and whiten some areas of the butterfly just to give it even further more definition. And the reason I like this pointer is because I don't want to get the primer on where the stamped image is. And all this is going to do is give the butterfly some texture, but also give it some different shades of colors. So you just want to go around gently around the butterfly, and I don't know if you can see it there, but you're starting to get different shades of the white on there. Yeah, just it's all in the little details here. So, but I really like this taper brush to do this because it really helped me stay in the lines without having to worry about going over the black detailed material. But just go ahead and highlight. And you can come and go in out with the white primer as much as you want to get the highlighted effect. You can go little or more, it's entirely up to you. If you do too much, you can always come back in with your Lasurs. Okay, I'm just going to do the body. Like I said, I'm using very, very little of the primer today. But now you have more of a multi-toned kind of butterfly. So I don't know how well it's going to show up there, but there is white primer on there. Okay, I'm just going to give that a quick dry. Now I'm going to show you the difference of where you accidentally go over the white with the primer. This one I did with the white primer kind of all over, and you can see it's more, the outline is more grayish. So that was the other reason I wanted to use that taper paintbrush or whatever you call it. Taper point. I have forgotten already. So I'm just going to fussy cut this out quickly. I've forgotten what these things are called. They're called antennas on top of its head. Antennas? I don't know. I can't remember. Or am I thinking of the old TVs that we grew up with that have antennas that look like this? So I'm cut those off. But you can always draw them back in to your... Hi Mari, you can always draw them back in here like that. I could just take a black pen and draw in, are they called antennas, guys? Help me out here, and draw them right here. You know what I'm talking about, these things right here. And you can always draw them back in, which would be nice because it would then give you further definition. This is why I didn't want to do two, because I didn't want to be sitting here doing fussy cutting. Sorry, you guys are probably wondering where my hands are. They're right here. But I wanted to show you how I got the different colors on the beautiful butterfly. And I also want to show you how the Lasurs will not take away anything that you have stamped. So that's the other beauty of Lasurs. They're bright, but they allow the detail to remain that you have stamped or any writing you have underneath. Let's tidy this up a little bit. Thank you for everybody who submitted their competition pieces. Seen some beautiful entries as always. It's so much fun. I hope it's inspiring and you guys get to play. It gives you a reason to play. Okay, so we are done. Now let's get to that background, shall we? Okay, so there you have this gorgeous, gorgeous butterfly. So all I did was I just took my finger and I just, because it's deli paper, it is very pliable and I wanted to give it some body. So I just did this, and then where his body is, I just tucked this one in, and then I tucked this side in, and then he kind of sits like this. So you can see how 3D he is. So basically, like I said, I wanted that kind of fluttery kind of butterfly. Does it look like a real butterfly? I think it does. Look at that. Just flutter, flutter, flutter. Okay, I'll stop that now and get on with what I'm supposed to be doing. Okay, now how to create this background just using two colors. Black and white. Are they black and white a color? I don't even know if black and white is a color. Why not just stamp on yellow cardstock? I think I explained that, Gloria. The reason I'm not stamping on yellow cardstock is because, one, I don't want to use Lasurs over cardstock. It wouldn't give the same effect, and it will not give me this look that I keep talking about because I'm so in love with it. It won't give me the same effect of what the butterfly looks like. So in cardstock, to me, cardstock on cardstock for me would have made this card heavy when I'm playing with butterflies. And the other reason is because it allows you to work with the products you have and allow, like I said earlier, when I do techniques, they're not specifically just for this. You can take them to any realm that you want, but without me not teaching you these techniques, you would not know them. But yes, if you would like a boring yellow butterfly, then do it on yellow cardstock. Hope that answers your question. Was it a bit harsh? It is very fluttery, isn't it, Gloria? So I'm just going to use this stencil. I'm not sure why I'm using this stencil. It's just that because it was easy to grab because it's got all the patterns on it there for me already. So I've got some black here and I've got some white here. Okay, so we're going to start with the black. And we're not going to do anything too exciting. We're just going to do some stenciling. And let's start off with this pattern here, shall we? And all you're going to do is you're just going to, hi Tara, is just come in and pick up some black. This is just, like I said, this is just black acrylic, okay? It's just black acrylic and white acrylic. And what we're going to do is we're just going to come in and we're just going to do this. Nothing too exciting. You want to go in darker, you can. And you want to lift that off. And then we'll do some down here. No, I don't like it so perfect, so I'm just going to do a little bit here. You don't need a lot of paint on your brush, just enough. I've got too much paint poured out here, but just enough to give you some ample coverage. Okay, so that's what you're going to do. Next, what you're going to do is, with a different stencil, mine is the same obviously, but with a different stencil, we're just going to come in and do some of those hexagons. Let's do it this way, shall we? And you're going to carry on and you're just going to continue with the black. I'm not being too careful or too fussy about where this goes, just putting down the colors. The color. So I've just kind of done where I've kind of got it. I was going to put that stencil there. Kind of got it everywhere. So nice thing about acrylic is it comes off your stencil right away, even if it dries. Gloria is funny, isn't she? Hi, Diana. So that's it. So all we've done is we've stenciled. Now this is, where did my butterflies go? I've lost my butterflies. I mean, even if you were to leave it just like this, I mean, in my mind, I think it's quite cute. Even if you just left it like that and you put a little sentiment on it, it's quite a cute, really bright, bright card. But like I said, this is about the techniques. So you want to give this a good dry, a very, very good dry, because you don't want the black now smudging into the white. So let's go ahead and dry it. Okay, so next thing you want to do once it's nice and dry is we're going to create a ghost effect now, because this is just too stock. So we're going to create a ghost effect. Look, and we're just going to, let me get my baby wipe out. Because we are going to use our finger. I just prefer to use my finger in this piece because I don't want any brush strokes. So you're just going to get the white, and all you're going to do is you're actually going to come over what you've done. Okay, and as you can see, it's starting to go a little grey there because it's not completely dried. And you're just going to take the white and you're going to go over it. So just go over everything. And you're going to be asking, oh my god, she's covering the black. I'm not. You'll notice that it's still showing through at the bottom. Of course, it would have been better if I had dried this properly, but not to fret. It will be just fine. This is about working with just black and white today. But get smudge you don't like it, just come over in white. Nothing's going to happen. Whoops. Look at that. It's a fun, messy project. Okay, got it all nicely smooth. This is smooth now. And now you've ended up with a background paper. Okay. I'm just cleaning my hands here. We're going to dry this. So what I'm going to do now is some areas are still a little bit too dark for me, because I want them in the background, because it's a background mixed media multi-layered kind of paper. So to me it's still a little bit stark, so I'm going to do two things. Where the 4 white areas are, I'm going to come in with some more white, and I'm just going to put a little bit more white over the other areas. So just using my finger again, just going to make some of these areas, smudge it into this area over here, just where I think it's a little bit dark for my liking. You can't go wrong with this technique because you're just really just playing around. Oops, wrong finger. Just where some of the spots are really bare, where there's no stenciling, which I left intentionally, so I could create some of these really white areas. And anywhere where you think that the background is still a little bit dark, so for me some areas are still a little bit dark because this is my background. It's not the final piece, okay? So now it's a little bit shade lighter, and it's got some more distinctive white areas in it, okay? Just gonna do that little bit there. Okay, so that's it for the white. We're gonna dry this again. Hey Britt! They all look nice, hey Iota, and at any point you can, Iota, you can add the butterflies. So now, I don't know if you can see, but there's a slight sheen on this because there, maybe you can catch it in the light. There's a slight sheen on it because the paints that I'm using are semi-glossy, and that's because I'm keeping my butterflies matte. Okay, so once you've done that, what you can do is you can take a little bit of black. I'm just going to put some here, and then you can take a little bit of white, and we can just mix that in with a little bit of black there and give ourselves a bit of a gray tone, just like that. Okay. Very, very light gray tone. Don't put too much black in there, so we've got to give a bit more white. Give a big dollop of white. Oh, I like that sound. I think I'm a sound person. My sisters go crazy because every time they go sit in my car, my music is so loud. So I have to make a conscious effort to turn it down every time they're going to sit in the car. Okay, so now what you're going to do, you're going to take a little bit of that grey paint, and what we're going to do is we're just going to introduce it into the outer area, just like this, just very little bits. Can you see that? We're starting to get a smudgy effect on the outside. So you're just going to take that. Again, we're just sticking with the black, and we're sticking with the grey, black and white, sorry. And we're just introducing it because we want this piece to be cohesive. And you can just rub that in. And that's why I'm enjoying using my fingers, because you're able to create a texture that kind of comes in, and you can work it up the paper a little bit. Okay? When you don't like it, just rub it hard. So let me show you what I'm trying to create. Can you see how that texture there is created with the grey? It makes it look like it's a part of the background paper. Can you see that? That's better. It looks like it's a part of the background paper, and that's all you're trying to do, is introduce some grey and make it look like it is part of the background paper. And you can easily do that just using your finger and tapping it in and almost sliding your finger forward so that the colors come towards the middle. Okay? So you're just going to continue doing that all the way around. For some reason, I'm picking up black from somewhere. Okay, and just bring it in. I'm using my fingers a lot today. For those of you who know I don't like to get messy, it's like quite surprising. Taking a page out of Dali's book here. Okay, so at this stage, you should have something that looks like this, okay? Don't worry if it's too dark in any area. It's not going to make a big difference. You can always come in with a little bit of white and tap that in like this and bring in your grey finger and just make it back to being light again. Same here, it's a little bit dark for me, so just going to tap in a bit of that white from this finger and correct it. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Okay, so now what you have is this background paper that has this really nice blended kind of layered grey outlook to it. Okay, so let's put those paints away for now. Let's just put those in front of me. I'm just going to give this a bit of a dry. Okay, so the next step that you want to do is you have your baby white ready. I already have mine here. Is take your black soot and you're just gonna give it a nice shading around the edge, okay? Now, the reason I said you have your baby white here already, what you're going to do is take your baby white, make sure it's not too wet, and what you can do is start smudging in some of that black to further give it a more layered effect, okay? Just gently tap it in and smudge it in. This will give you another layer of grey, okay? And a more kind of smudged, cohesive look. So now you have a more defined outline, okay? Then come back in and just repeat it, but this time you're just not going to do any smudging in towards the center. Now you can do this with any color acrylic paint, but I just wanted to stress that while one is black and white is the color of the competition this month, but also I just wanted to show you that just plain black and white can create gorgeous, gorgeous backgrounds. So this is just done on 110 pound cardstock, if you're wondering what I've done this on. Okay, so there you have it. That's that part done. Now what we're going to do is I am going to see where I'm going to put my butterflies. See that background? Isn't that absolutely a gorgeous lead? It does spread. It gives all these little steps, as minuscule as they might be, using the baby wipe or whatever. Every little bit gives you some great depth. I mean, if this was printed in a scrapbook pad, I would love it. I would love to use this making an album or making cards. I just love it. So there we are at this point. So now I just want to see where I want my butterflies, and I'm just going to keep them relatively the same. You might notice this one's a bit duller. That's because as I explained earlier, I had put some primer over the black. So just come in and curl up your butterfly. The reason I'm using deli paper and not cardstock is so that they look light and fluttery. Again, bend in your ends. But by all means, you can use cardstock. I had done it on 110 pound cardstock, and then I tried it on 80, and it just did not give me the look that I really, really wanted. Okay, so I have my two butterflies, so I kind of know where I'm going to put them. I'm going to keep it relatively the same. Now you're going to come back in with your stencil, and now we're going to further highlight this. So we're going to grab the black again, and we're going to take some paint like we did before, and we're just going to highlight some areas. Not too much paint. We don't want to make it too dark. Now if it gets too dark, don't worry, because you know as well as I do, you can come back in with the white. Okay, just very, very gently start creating your background. Back again as to how you would like it. Now you don't have to go over the exact same spot, because you will see where you did it originally is a gorgeous shade of grey. So don't worry about too much going over exactly where you were before. Okay, so you want to keep some of that other pattern in there. So it's not about giving it complete coverage, and you can see I'm going in quite lightly. I'm not going in as heavy-handed as I was before. and I'm not too worried about where I'm going. Okay, and then what I'm going to use this part of this stencil, and very, very lightly, I'm going to tap off the excess, because I want this to be very, very gentle, that you can barely see it. And this is being done in those white areas that I created earlier. Okay. And I don't want too much white, so I'm just getting rid of some of that white very, very gently. I've tapped off all the excess paint off my brush. And now what we can do is we can now look at this as it looks as a background paper. So now you see where we went from a white sheet of paper, all just still using white and black, and this is where we've gotten to. So isn't that just absolutely gorgeous? I love it, I love it. I'm just gonna sew in all about these things. Now, the next step that we're going to do is that we are going to take a little bit of the yellow paint right here, and we're going to water that down a little bit, and we're going to just create some yellow splatters just to bring in some background color. Okay. I think Jill had told me a trick how to do this, and I've forgotten how to do it, how to do splatters. I can't remember. Now you can do your butterflies any color you want. I just thought the yellow popped really well, so that's why I used it. Okay, so now we have a little bit of yellow on there. We've got all these brushes everywhere. And I am also going to do just ever so little bit of white. Oh, let's try it this way. That's better. Okay, let's put those paintbrushes all into water, because we don't want them to dry on us, because I think I'm done with them. Okay, let's dry this. Now let me show you. Do you see all the different layers that you have in there? Hi Benetta, how are you? All the different layers that you have. You can see the dark, the light, a little bit of gray. You can see that gorgeous blended side in it. So this is really neat way of creating whatever colors you use. You could use more than one color, however you want to do this. Now, just to finish it off, I'm going to be using my Sentiment, whoopsie daisy, using my Sentiment from my Butterfly Wishes stamp, which is actually Butterfly Wishes. So you can see it right there. The sentiments are Fly High, Flutter On By, and Butterfly Wishes. These are the two butterflies that I used. But as you can see, there's lots of little butterflies that you can actually add to this. And if I was going to take more time, I probably would have gone big, small, 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 tiny, and had them on a bigger sheet. That's okay. but better late than never. I would have had all the butterflies going from big to small on a bigger sheet and use a sentiment flutter on by. But that would be if I was going to be here for 2 hours. So, so I'm just making a small little snippet. So let's take our, I have it right here, Butterfly Wishes already on here. So let's just go ahead and stamp that. And again, when you're stamping, because you want balance, always go back to where your pieces are gonna be. Because if you know where you're putting your pieces, I mean, I could have this way too. Wherever you're putting your pieces, always remember to work around that to give you balance in your projects. Okay, so we could do it that way. I'm gonna stick to this way. These are too dark for you. You know how you can come in and make these more faded. I am gonna flip it this way. I like this corner here, so I'm gonna flip it that way. And let's just come in and do some stamping strategically around our butterflies. Now, I had this from last week. I just had one made up. I must have made an extra one, so I'm just going to use that. On here, I've used Butterfly Wishes. So what I want to do, deli paper. No, it's not parchment. It's similar to parchment paper. So what I'm going to do is work around where this is going to go and where this is going to go. I think I'm going to leave everything in that bottom corner. I'm just going to flatten this out a little bit. And then let's put these here, put this here, and then let's go ahead and stamp. So we'll do a Butterfly Wishes up here. I think I had something under my thing there. You can do, I don't want to get paint all over me. Do one down here. And you guys know I don't mind going off the page, so I'm just gonna, here, I'm just gonna put butterfly. And then you can just go and stamp however you want to, where you would like to. And if it doesn't work around where you put your sentiments, not a big deal, because it all works in mixed media. Let's do one more down here. And now let's have a look at what this looks like. And then you're going to want to come in and glue everything down. And there you have it. So today's mixed media card is using black and white for the inspiration with a pop color. And what did you use for the butterflies? Sorry. Oh, that's okay, Britt. It was deli paper. It was deli paper that I used. My poor old butterflies have gotten mangled here. It was deli paper that I used. It's not like, I can't say it's like parchment paper, but you could definitely do it on parchment paper. It's a paper that you get from when you go to the butchers and they wrap your sandwiches up in it. Obviously I haven't glued this down. I do have my pop dots, but I'll maybe use, I'm not sure on my sentiment. Yeah, it's just I had it there. So there you have it. There is, hello Anne. There you have it. There is today's demo. This was my card from yesterday. You just want to, I matted this on black. And then I will mat this onto white like this, glue it all down, but you guys get the idea of what they both look like. So yeah, pretty similar, I would say. I would say they're both very, very similar. I might change this up a little bit. I don't know yet. I'll have to play with it. I might change a sentiment. I don't know. Yes, Benetta, I love the poppy yellow. I don't work with yellow often enough, but when I thought Monarch, I think Monarch's a yellow. Oh, geez, I need to really get focused on what's going on. Thank you, IoT. Oh, thank you, Terry. Thank you so much. Well, I hope this has given you guys some inspiration, again, for the black and white competition with a pop of color. Just so easy, really, just 2 colors, black and white. And look how much I've got left. And if COVID wasn't here, I'd say, come on over, friends. Let's finish off these paints and play. But there you have it. I hope you enjoyed the live. Have yourselves a wonderful day. Again, the classes at the city of Kelowna, you'll be hearing either from me or from the city themselves to say that they've been moved now towards the end of February. I believe they're all full. There might be a few spots left. They've been moved now to the end of February due to the new COVID restrictions, and we will just play it by ear, what goes on and what happens. And don't forget to watch Dali and me on our latest YouTube hop. Thank you, everyone, for your support and your love. And when you're there, when I need you, you know who you are. And thank you so much. Thank you, Tara. Yes, Britt, get in that craft room. Thank you, Anne. Okay, everybody, have a wonderful day, and I look forward to seeing all your entries. Thanks, Tara. Okay, bye, everyone.